Hi, I'm Nick.
I'm Adam.
Today we're talking about what to do in the event of an audit. So audits can be a pretty stressful time, but they don't necessarily have to be. So today we're just going to go through some tips of what to do during an audit, and we're also going to talk about what are the common causes of triggering an audit with the ATO. So some of the things that do trigger an audit: CGT events, so selling an asset, receiving quite a high capital gain. The ATO will sometimes look into that. They will also look into a high level of deductions. So a lot of you, if you've ever completed your own tax return, you might see a warning pop up from the ATO saying that for your industry, your deductions are quite high. This pops up for a lot of people, but for some people it will actually trigger an audit from the ATO. But usually you'll get those warnings first, so it's not just going to hit you suddenly. The other thing will be a substantial change in your tax position. So if you have been paying instalments because you've historically been getting a tax bill each year, and then suddenly you're getting a tax refund and you're getting all your instalments paid back, the ATO may look into that. So that's something to remember as well. The majority of the time for these sort of events, they're all pretty well explained, and the ATO will ask the question, we'll send them the information, and it's all good. But there are a few things you actually need to do for us to be able to get a clear slate with the ATO.
Yeah, so as Nick was just alluding to, you can reduce the severity and basically the stress of an audit, and they're fairly simple steps you can take. So obviously one is keeping receipts for all deductions. That's fairly straightforward, everyone knows this. It's also why when we're requesting information, it's because basically we want to have it on file just in case the tax office does ask the question. We've already got it on file and we just basically flick that off to them rather than having to call you having to go through the records for the last few years. So good records are key. So obviously if you want to, we're happy to have all your digital receipts here and that. You can use our client portal, and that is a good way. It's another document storage system for you. And then that way, if it is ever audited, you're not trying to go back 5 years to find a receipt. It's already in the file. So that's a pretty key one. Make sure you've got the receipt there and you've got it in a safe spot usually. And the ATO are happy with scanned copies and photos of the receipt as well. So you don't need to keep everything in your shoebox. Another key point is communication is key. So communication with us communicating with you, and basically everyone communicating with the ATO. With the audits that we've had in the office, basically the ones that have gone really well is when basically we've both communicated to the case officer and said, hey, yeah, look, we're onto it, thanks for your email, we'll start getting this together, we'll get it to you by say 2 weeks time, and then we make sure we get it to them within basically a week. That generally keeps them pretty happy. So following from that, obviously with the information requests, give the ATO what they ask for, and just don't provide irrelevant documents, because if you give them irrelevant documents, even if you think it's a trivial receipt or something, it can trigger further audit action. So what we like to do is basically we answer the questions that are being asked and nothing more. It helps speed up the process, keeps the ATO focused on what they actually want originally, and it won't blow out your review time. Along with that, obviously, with that communication, it needs to be formal. So, don't be fairly blasé and casual with them. It's still audit and that, and they are doing it for a reason. So something's obviously piqued their interest. So as long as you keep everything professional and courteous, again, you're going to keep the ATO on your side and help speed up the process. Obviously, if you are getting audited, contact us. Let us be the conduit for everything. Helps speed up the process if there's only one person providing the info. Also helps relieve some of the stress on you because you're not having to field all the questions, and we can just ask you for the relevant info if we don't have it. Yeah, and then basically with that, we can basically ensure we only send the relevant documents, and if the review officer asks for something that doesn't relate to this particular part of the audit without due reason, basically we can politely decline to provide that information so they show us why they want to as well.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the steps you need to take. Things to remember is just cooperation is key. So the more cooperative you are, the more clear cut the information that you're giving is, the easier the ATO will go. If they have to, if it looks like you're intentionally just swamping them with information and trying to muddy the waters, they're going to react in kind, and they're going to hit you with their top level audit. and you're probably going to come down with it. So cooperate, be clear with the information provided, and don't stress, because stressing out can be, it makes life harder for everyone, and that's what we're here for. That's why we asked the annoying questions during the year for you provide this receipt and this invoice. That's all for leading up to just in case you were audited. So yeah, hopefully that helps relieve any sort of pressure you're feeling or any stress about the subject, and hopefully it doesn't happen to you, but if it does, we're always here to help. Thanks for listening.
Cheers.